Hello and welcome to a special and hopefully not too long late night recorded EVs and Beyond. This one's a bit different. It's not a review, it's something like that. We are actually here to announce pricing. That is pricing for the BYD Seal. Now, while I'm recording this at about 10 o'clock at night, this will be going live at 10 in the morning, which is when the embargo lifts for the pricing and more of the spec on this long-awaited electric sports sedan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up a little bit of a slideshow that I've put together, and we're going to go through that, touch on the pricing, and after that, Warren Willmot from BYD, we've had a chat to him earlier about the pricing and what people can expect from this car when it arrives in New Zealand. Sounds like first quarter of next year. So let's pull that up. Right, so what we can confirm is there are three models in the Seal range, and the first one starts at $62,990 plus on-road costs. So that is the Seal Dynamic. Has a 61.4 kilowatt hour blade battery, so LFP of course. Maximum power of 150 kilowatts, maximum torque of 310 newton meters, a WLTP range of 460 kilometers, AC charging 7 kilowatts, DC charging 110 kilowatts. You get 18-inch alloy wheels, a 0 to 100 time of 7.5 seconds, and it is rear-wheel drive. So performance-wise, you're kind of looking at the power of a Atto 3 or a Dolphin extended range there. So a fairly good package, I think, for most people. A pretty good all-round mid-size sedan, I think, at that power levels. And 460 k's range, I mean, we're probably guessing more like 350 in the real world. That's pretty good. And that pricing, if I'm not mistaken, undercuts the Highland Model 3 by about $3,000, maybe a little bit more. And of course, the BYD has the far better warranty that we've seen from BYD before. But though, you know, Tesla's known for more software refinement and definitely, I think, a little bit better efficiency. So it'd be interesting to go see how that car goes with the Tesla competition. The possibly more interesting competition to the Tesla is actually if you look a little bit higher up the range, the mid-range car, the BYD Seal Premium. And here you're getting a lot for your money at $72,990. So you're getting an 82.56 kilowatt hour blade battery, maximum power of 230 kilowatts, maximum torque of 360 newton meters, a WLTP of 570 kilometers. DC charging goes up to 150 kilowatt. So this is the first time we're really seeing BYD get into some charging speeds that are actually competitive with some of the European options out there and a little bit closer to what Tesla can do. You get a heads-up display, you get genuine leather-wrapped steering wheel and seats. That's a little bit rare these days to actually get genuine leather in a car. 19-inch alloy rims, and it's got a 0 to 100 kilometer time of 5.9 seconds. And again, of course, rear-wheel drive. Now, if we go to the top of the range, this is the sizzling one, the BYD Seal Performance all-wheel drive, priced from $83,990. So quite a way under a Model 3 Performance. So you get 0 to 100 kilometers in 3.8 seconds. Maximum power 390 kilowatts. Maximum torque 670 newton meters. You get frequency selective dampening. Some intelligent dampening system, essentially. Intelligent torque adaptation control, so really a smart all-wheel drive. This, of course, being a all-wheel drive dual motor system, and a 520 kilometer WLTP. Now, why is that lower than the rear-wheel drive one? Well, of course, you've got two motors, you've got extra weight, generally slightly less efficiency, so you're going to lose some range there. Now, if we go on to the next slide, we've got the colors that you can have. So for free, you can have Aurora White. You can get Arctic Blue for $1,595. Atlantis Grey for the same. Cosmos Black for the same, and it does look rather good in the black. And I've got one friend who's ordering the black. And then you have the performance-only color of Shark Grey. And I've been told I've actually got a long-term test car coming in this color. So that's the one that I'm getting for a bit of a test, and that's going to be really fun, I think. And I think that's a pretty sharp car in that color. I'm guessing it's more of a flat grey perhaps. I'm not quite sure. It's hard to tell on the internet, but it really does look great in that colour. Now let's look at the interior colours. We have on the left a black, so the black is the colour getting it originally. They do have a blue package as well, but that's going to come later on, and I don't think you're really going to go too far past that black colour. Black hides everything, and I also think it fits the sporty nature of the car. The seats themselves look pretty epic. They look incredibly sporty and comfortable, so really excited to try those out. Now let's go into some overall specifications. Let's have a look through this. So if we look at the curb weight of the car, it is starts with the base model, 922 kilograms. When you get to the all-wheel drive, it's getting up to 2.2 tons, so fairly hefty car. Of course, we've got the drivetrains there. Now, it's interesting, the front motor in the Performance is more powerful than the rear motor in the standard model, in the basic model. It's got an extra 10 kilowatts of power. I'm guessing it's a similar, well, actually, no, I think it's actually a different motor. It's a asynchronous motor rather than a synchronous motor. But yeah, interesting to see that front motor is more powerful than the other cars. Otherwise, the Premium and the Performance share a similar kind of setup. Yeah, it's cool to see that front motor having so much power. Right, if we move on, we have the Performance. So as we said, the Performance will do it in 3.8 seconds to 100. The others, 7.5 and 5.9 respectively. That's pretty darn good. We've got the WLTP range there as before. It's a double wishbone front, multi-link rear suspension system. They have 4 discs, but with the Premium and the Performance models, those are ventilated and drilled. So yeah, some extra performance there. Now the tyre sizes, it's a 225 50 18 on the entry level, and then 235 45 on the Premium, and 235 45 R19 on the Performance. Now I understand that the entry level model uses the GITI tyres, which is the same company that makes GT radials, so with no linglongs that would appear initially this time, though I would suspect we can never confirm that until we actually get the cars on the ground, whereas the higher models use a Continental tyre. So great to see some really good quality tyres coming, because this is one thing that many owners of the Atto 3 will attest to, is the linglongs, while they're fine, they're a good hard-wearing, relatively efficient tyre. They're a bit soft from the sidewall. They're not necessarily the sportiest tyre in the world, so cool to see that we're getting a sportier option with the Seal. Flick through some of these things. That charging we mentioned there before. You do get V2L function. The V2L adapter is free, and I'm assuming we're going to get all sorts of switchable regenerative braking as we've seen before with the car. Now, safety, plenty to talk about here. Lots of airbags, 360-degree cameras, parking sensors front and rear. We have ISOFIX. We have all sorts of lane departure, lane warning, lane keeping. It's all standard across there. The only 2 things that seem to vary there are the heads-up display, which is only on the 2 top models, and the torque adaptation system, which is only on, of course, the all drive model, and the electronic child lock. I'm not entirely sure what that means, but yeah, I'm not sure they would have dropped anything necessary from those low models. Exterior, pretty much standard across the thing there. I think the only thing we don't have on the bottom model is the mirror, auto tilt, and position memory. And of course, we've got those Continental tiles on the upper models. Now, interestingly, the glass roof, well, what is a glass roof? And it comes with a foldable shade insert, which is something which a lot of people, they found they needed with the Teslas with the glass roofs. BYD is throwing it for free. So that's something really handy there for those of you that perhaps are like me and need a little bit of sunshade sometimes. Yeah, I'm going bald. Right, into the interior, steering wheel mounted controls. Of course, you don't get the genuine leather on the entry level, but you do get an imitation leather. You only get a heated steering wheel on the Performance model, which is fine. 10.5-inch LCD instrumentation screen. Again, imitation leather on the entry level. You have driver's seat 4-way lumbar power adjustment on everything but the base model. You get seat memory, something I've missed in the Auto on the two upper models. Courtesy seating in the two upper models, so I think the seats will move around in order to allow you to get in a little bit easier. And I believe the main screen, I think we'll come to that next, is a 15-inch model. So yeah, it's a 15.6 inch. There you go. As we've had before, Apple CarPlay is USB, Android Auto wireless, lots of USB-C and USB-A ports around the car, and lots of LED lighting as well. Onto comfort, you've got keyless entry and start, you've got an NFC card key, two wireless phone chargers across the range. It looks pretty impressive. I had a look at an image of that, looks pretty good. All sorts of air cleaning systems, dual zone heat pump air conditioning, so that's handy to have, and yeah, pretty good spec list there. So that is the spec of the car. Now, it looks pretty good. I don't think there's any great holes in that. Probably some people do, I guess, have some questions about the pricing. It is certainly different from Australia, and that was one of the first things I put to Warren Willmot from BYD Auto New Zealand when I had a chat to him earlier.
So high, I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Times don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight.
Pleasure.
So you must be pretty excited to finally have the Seal pricing out there to market. And if I understand correctly, people can actually place their orders now. Is that correct?
That's right. They can head into a dealership today. This has been a really hotly anticipated car. Since we launched BYD, we've had people asking about this car. So it's been a long time coming, but here we are. Finally able to release pricing and specs, get those orders in. And yeah, we hope to deliver cars in Q1 of next year.
So that means that people won't be getting the rebate on this car. I mean, is that something that's a bit disappointing?
Yeah, hey, it is disappointing.
Had you tried to have it here earlier?
It is disappointing. It is really disappointing that the rebate's disappearing. Unfortunately, that's the reality of the situation. We are trying very hard to get our demo vehicles here in time. We will know actually this time tomorrow whether those cars are made on the boat. At least people can go and do test drives in December. But yeah, unfortunately, the change of government, the rebate disappears.
Do you think that's going to cost you sales? Perhaps people who are waiting for a Seal might shift to something else just so they can get it before.
Yeah, look, we have this conversation in this office quite a bit, what the rebate removal is going to do to our business. At the end of the day, we actually have a very strong, compelling car at a fabulous price. Sedans aren't really a big part of the market anymore, but I've been quite surprised on who have been putting down deposits, not knowing what the price or the spec's going to be. And I'd expect all of those, or nearly all of those customers to retain their orders in place.
Mm-hmm. And I guess if we look at, in the sedan market, there's only really one competition, and it's the Tesla Model 3. And they're sort of in a similar position, aren't they? Because they're pretty much running out or have run out their existing stocks, and they're not going to have a new model for next year either, I don't believe.
No, that's right. I think Highland's due out at sometime first quarter as well. Model 3, it's a direct competitor, but I think the Seal appeals to a slightly wider audience. It's a very, very good-looking car. And actually, the interest from our fleet customers has been quite strong as well, because in that premium version, you get quite a lot of range, and it gets rid of some of that range anxiety that people have in their head about, a car that only can do 350 or 400 kilometres. So I think we'll see a bit of an uptake in fleet space as well for executives.
Now, if we do, let's look through the range, and we will, unfortunately, you probably won't like this, compare a little bit to what the Teslas are pricing-wise. The Dynamic is $62,990, so that puts it a good $6,000 or $7,000, I think, cheaper than the Tesla Model 3 Highland.
Yeah, it's about 5,000. I mean, you've got to add your on-road costs. Our on-road costs are obviously a lot cheaper than Teslas as well. Yeah.
The premium to me feels like where the value is, because for a couple of grand more than a Highland, you're getting an additional near on 20 kilowatts of battery. Am I reading that right? For
That's right. Yep. So the lot larger battery, also a lot more performance out of that motor as well, and a few nicer features. So that is a really good value proposition product, and that's roughly where we expect to see 50% of our orders come through. In that,
right. So that premium specification, that 82 kilowatt hour battery, I think that's pretty much the cheapest way into an 82 kilowatt hour battery in New Zealand at the moment.
Yep, absolutely, and that's got great range on it.
Yeah. I think the closest on that battery for size is, I think you can get a Volkswagen ID4 with an 82, but it's like a 77 really for about that money. But different market really. And then if you really want to blow, I'll keep well away from the Teslas on the pricing. The performance, 83,990. That's probably the performance bargain of the century. Is there anything else you can think of on the market that matches that? 390 kilowatts, 670 newton meters for that price?
Well, not in a car of that size. I mean, there are obviously there's the MG4 X-Power, which is another performance car, but that sits in a completely different market segment. That level of performance. When I was growing up in the JDM era, to have a car that can do 0 to 100 in 3.8 seconds, that's supercar territory of old, and here we have it available for a lot more people. It's within reach of a lot of people. It's a brand new car with a 6-year warranty. So we're really looking forward to that.
Now, I'm going to ask the big question that a lot of people on the internet will no doubt ask. You know it, I know it, so I'm not being mean by asking this. Why are we more expensive than Australia? And there is
I'm not
on this car. I think
I'm not going to shy away from the product. So Australia and New Zealand, two different markets, two completely different markets, right? In New Zealand, we've got a couple of things working against us. Obviously, we've got GST. So GST is 5% more, right? The New Zealand car market, 150,000 there will take new cars a year. That fits into the size of Melbourne. So scale comes into things. Simple economics, you buy more, you pay less. Not only that, we buy in a different currency. We also have a different distribution model. So we have dealerships. We have actually probably some of the best dealerships in the country. And our dealers are investing in the best people, great premises. We've got to keep the lights on. We've got to keep people fed. We've got to pay a fair wage. But we've managed to price this car very, very affordably, below our competition. And comparing us to Australia is not really a fair accurate representation of the situation. So, we've got those market factors to consider. But we've priced the car as well as we possibly can to ensure that we've got a sustainable business going forward as well.
Are people right to question it though? I mean, it's. I guess it's the problem with having a brand like BYD. There's a lot of passionate people out there watching and looking online.
Yeah, but you can also compare the price in China as well. It's different markets. There's a lot of factors that go into pricing a car, and in terms of exporting and localized costs. It's just how the market is, and BYD is not the only one. If you're looking at, there's a lot of products we can point to in the New Zealand market that cost more in New Zealand than they do in Australia.
Mm-hmm. Now, when you say Q1, vague idea when people might expect their cars? We're talking.
The shipping schedules are a little bit fluid at the moment, but we're hoping to do first deliveries in February. That's all subject to shipping availability. So at the moment, there's only one ship carrier that comes out of the Port of Shanghai, and everybody's got to fight for space on that. So whether it's friends over at MG, LDV, Polestar, Tesla, the last boat that came in had swimming pools coming off at the same time that had cars coming out of it. So shipping space is the issue at the moment, but we're doing our best to make sure that we can get as many cars as we can. The great thing is we'll have a consistent supply of these cars coming forward, so wait times won't be terribly long.
Now, if you had to package up your perfect Seal colour spec, what would it be?
Mate, for me, it's got to be a black performance edition, but I can tell you the dealers have ordered a lot of the special shark grey colour performance edition, so you can expect most dealerships will have one of those in their showroom available for a demo.
I was going to say a black car. Clearly, you have someone else washing your cars because. Yeah.
Well, I don't mind getting out the bucket and sponge on a Sunday. It's quite relaxing.
Now, what's next after Seal? With Seal's great, but what's coming after that? I know you've got Song coming. How long after that's that Ute going to be? Because that's getting a lot of attention at the moment.
Well, hey, look, I've always said we aim to have a car for every Kiwi in the market, and we will have a full suite of cars by the end of 2024. So you can expect another minimum 3 cars, maybe 4 cars to be launched next year. There will be our first plug-in hybrids arriving Q1 to Q2. It's always been our intention to take the covers off our Ute at National Field Days. There's no better place to do that than the Southern Hemisphere's largest agricultural show to have an electrified Ute on the stand. And we will be expecting to do deliveries within Q3 of 2024 of that product.
Fantastic.
And yeah, you'll see some other SUVs as well coming from BYD.
All right. Cool. Excellent. Well, thank you very much for that. Very exciting, the Seal coming. I'm looking forward to driving one later this year. So for more on the Seal as it comes available, please don't forget to check out EVs and Beyond.co.nz, like and subscribe to this channel. And Warren, your chance here to go and plug where people should be going to check out their the details on the BYD Seal.
Absolutely, you can go to bydauto.co.nz or check out your local BYD dealer. Orders open today, right now, 10 a.m. Go see your dealer.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Cheers, guys.